Greg?
I'm gonna also answer this question. Is that, sometimes if you haven't ever done it before, you put this magical spell or feeling on how to call a game, what to call a game, all that kind of stuff. And one of the things that I've tried to do, and I have done, and hopefully maybe I've taught him also, is you basically call a game 3 times before you ever call the game. And you go through your weekly progression, and you're calling the game every single day on how you practice, how you script, how you do everything. And when it comes to game day, there is an open line of communication. And I can't tell you how many times when everybody thought I was making the call, Jerry made the call. Jerry made the call, when a lot of times I'm the coordinator at the Redskins, and I turned and I said, okay, here it comes, 3rd and 6. What do you want to see? What do you want to see? And boom. And I've already gotten that discussion happen before we got to the play. And so there'll be those type of open lines of communication. And the things that I hope we want you to be feeling about, the receptiveness that we can be open and honest with each other. And it's not a thing where you get upset because you didn't use my idea. Well, you didn't use my idea. We're not going to be that way, okay? And there's way too much, I think, pressure is put on, the exact call. You got to go out and execute the call, and we've got to fit the calls to the kind of players we're coaching here. And I'm looking forward to learning more about the players here, to tell you the truth.
Greg, how effective was your defense, do you feel, your last year with the Saints, and also maybe a year away, what kind of perspective, X's and O's did you get, with the year?
What was the first part of your question?
First one was, how effective did you feel like your Saints defense was in your last year down there?
Every year there's, again, an adaptability you have to have. And I've been real fortunate in my coaching career, and I think, one of the networks did that thing where I've gone to several organizations and been able to start over and with a new staff, with a new group of guys, and a total different style of defense that I'd had the year at the previous place, and they've been able to put together pretty formidable squads. You got to be able to do that year by year, and what group of guys that you have that you're going to go into the season with, the final 53, and how those injuries happen. We adapted and we improvised as well as possible there. Probably didn't get, the thing we didn't do a very good job of, as I look back, is, some key takeaways in some situations. But I felt good about, that whole experience and that kind of stuff. And this past year, and I was talking to the scouts upstairs this morning when I had a chance to see them, is that it was a pretty unique thing about being able not to be so focused on your own team or focused on your own situation, but to be able to look at the league-wide. I was able to look at all different styles of offense, defense, and special teams, all different styles of coaching decisions, all different styles. And, how about this? I got a chance to go to all 13 Virginia Tech games, where my son's playing, and my youngest. And so with all that kind of stuff, it's a good growth year in that respect. So, I'm, again, looking forward to finding out how these guys can play here and helping and listening and doing the best thing we can to put the best product on the field we can.
Do you think home hits league-wide have gone down because of the emphasis on players?
I don't know the numbers. I couldn't answer that question. I don't know the numbers. Again, what I've tried to do is that, I've not talked to anybody, not seen anything. So this is my first day back in the life.
Jerry, from a personnel standpoint, where do you think you guys need to get better to take a big step on defense that's coming in?
Well, again, to me, I think we got to basically be able to stop the run, again, when we're out there in 11 personnel. I think that's one thing that people tried to do to us this year. And, defend the red zone even more. That was one of the things that we're kind of looking at. How can we get better in those two areas? Because, again, we look back at our regular defense. We kind of started early in the week, and we look back at that, and we didn't have a lot of major problems there. It was more so in the sub, and that's what we got to get better at. We got to get probably, you look at San Francisco, they're playing the run with one less guy. And you know, a lot of teams that are really good are doing that. So that's some of the stuff that we got to study and keep studying to see how they were successful with it and how we wasn't. And then kind of, you know, again, like I said, this league is wide open. So there's no secrets. You just got to figure out, can your personnel fit theirs and what you're trying to do as a scheme-wise.
Greg, because of what you've been through the last year, will you be a different coach in any way now that you're back? And if so, how?
Sure. I mean, I think that I think we always have to change, and I'll need to change from some things verbiage-wise, some things tact-wise, some things that way. Yeah, and I'm looking and excited about doing that. But the bottom line is still getting the player to perform, and what I've been able to do, and you know, I guess I've been had the opportunity to do in a lot of different places is that how do you make an average guy good guy great, and if you have a chance to coach a great guy, he's got to be great on your watch. And so it's a production business, and you're going to have to get them to do that, and people have to understand how to do that. But I think, yeah, I feel like I'm looking forward to some of the newer ways that you need to do things.
Greg, you've said that every day you feel like every day is an interview for you from here on out. Do you really believe that you will be able to put this, or that your perception will be able to change, or that you'll be able to put this behind you?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Because I've got a very positive outlook on things. I understand and respect the game an awful lot, and the past is the past, and what I'm talking about doing right now is creating a resume from this day forward.
That resume with the intention of getting a coordinator job or a head job down the road. You said 1 year.
I will tell you this: I'm looking to be the best coach I can in the National Football League. Okay, and there's a lot of things that I could do in life, but maybe not cherish as much as coaching in the National Football League. You ask what I miss the most? I miss the competition on Sundays. I miss the competition on Monday night. I'm a competition addict. You know, and I enjoy that aspect of competing. Not going to apologize for that, the aspect of competing in that way, but got to make sure it's done in the right way. And those are the things that I'm anxious to get started about doing.
What's your assessment of the strengths and defenses of
Say what?
What's your assessment of the strengths and weaknesses of this defense as you kind of get a first look at it?
You know, again, to be truthful, I was here this morning, had a chance to listen to the coaches in a coaches meeting this morning, and they probably said, whoa, because I got a chance to speak this morning on certain things. And they said, boy, you can tell you've had a year off. You can't wait to talk. So, but no, I haven't had a chance to look at one snap of film.
Marcus and Blaine aren't in there.
You know, I'm kind of sad that Blaine's not here. So as you guys remember the little tiffs that he and I used to go through, I'm anxious to get a chance to talk with him and see him again too. But those are the fun things. You miss the camaraderie. You miss the sacrifice. You miss the blood, sweat, and tears and the preparation that goes involved with getting a chance to go out and play, and everybody sees the product on Sunday. But you miss all those other things too. So I'm anxious to get back involved with that, and you know, just the team camaraderie that you have.
Do you anticipate, I guess, players being a little bit skeptical about that?
No, I don't anticipate that at all. No, players are players, and again, you know, and I answered that in a different way back earlier in the press conference, is that they want to know that can you help me? Can you help me win? Can you help me be better? Can you help me stay one more day? Can you help me make more money? You know, that's what they want to know, and you know, they want to be the best they can be. And so, and I believe that 99% of the people I come in contact with they're pleasers. You know, and that what they really want to do is they want to please you, and you know, do they get a chance to play for a coach to tell them how to do it? You know, and I can't wait to get started and try to help.
What would your message be to them, I guess, going in, your first day we meet with guys as a whole?
Hadn't thought about it yet, you know. I'm just, like I said, I got here a little bit before midnight last night, and Jerry's had me working hard today, so.
Jerry, do you think that Gregg this will be able to be put in the past, and that he'll be able to move on past this whole thing that's gone on for him the last year?
I think he just answered that, yeah.
No, I'm asking your opinion.
Of him?
Yeah, if you think he'll be able to get past this.
If I go by his answer, of course.
But you haven't addressed how you think these two.
I'm just asking, what leads you to believe that?
Well, because I've known him for, you know, I knew Greg in '92. you know, and I came over as a player, and, you know, I never played in Houston, and they had a lot of really good football players there, and you know, I respect coaches, and I respect what those guys do. And, you know, as a Pro Bowl player, I had my way of doing things, and, you know, it wasn't a negative way, it wasn't a selfish way, and I got to know Gregg then as a player. So when I got a chance to coach, it was the same thing. I was in quality control for 2 years, and then when I got back here, you know, it's, hey, you're going to do a quality control, you're not going to coach, and then I got a chance to be the secondary coach. So I work close with him. I understand what he does. I understand what he wants to do. And to me, I think, you know, when you have something taken away and then you get another chance to come back, I think you do change. Because if you didn't, there was 12 months of video, really not video, but 12 months of his life that he's probably said, you know what, I got to change these things in order to get back into the league. And so obviously the commissioner felt that way, Mike felt that way, I feel that way. And I can only go on what I know. And that's what I feel.
Greg, listen, you talked about having to change, you know, some things and change what. Do you feel like you'll still be just as aggressive in terms of your approach to defense and in terms of your approach on the practice field?
Yes, and again, those are what people get when I get a chance to help. If it's been my thought process as a player, you know, as a coach, you know, in all the years I've been doing this, is that I'd rather be aggressive than passive. And sometimes the fastest approach to getting the job done is being more aggressive. And that could be style of defense, scheme of defense, attitude of defense. You know, great defenses are 2/3 of your team, you know, because they're a huge part of the special teams too. And it's got to carry over into that aspect of the team. And, you know, I feel like that will always be a huge tenet of the National Football League.
You think that'll be a huge tenet? Sorry, picking up on that. I'm wondering if you're a year away, you haven't seen some people become more afraid of getting beat over the top. It seems like the aggression that you...
Say it again?
It seems like the aggression, the kind of aggression that you had when you coached here before, is dissipated in some places in the league, because the biggest fear defenses have is getting beat over the top, and they just want to make you chunk them to death.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, and, you know, and it's twofold there. I mean, you know, getting beat over the top's not the defensive back's fault. It's the pressure's fault. You know, I mean, and people, and you know, I look at that, and I've always smiled with that, with people's recollection or understanding of that corner that's out there covering the best athlete in the National Football League or playing at the wide receiver position, and you don't look at the rusher. You know, it's, you know, all those things work hand in hand. I do believe there's a blend, and if you've watched Paul where I've gone, we blended to the talent level. You know, and when I say, you know, a while ago Jerry was talking about from a sub-defensive perspective, it's going to be good for Jerry and I to sit down and talk that since, you know, he and I last coached, there's been a huge evolution of style of defense that I've coached since the last time he and I've coached. When I've talked about especially the adaptability of your sub-personnel and your packages once you bring the 5th and 6th defensive back onto the field and how you adapted, all those kind of things. And I think I've got some, you know, maybe some help there that he is probably want to know just what exactly was I doing. But we weren't working side by side, but now we are. You know, so there's an open line of communication there. So, Paul, to your answer, your question is a mix of aggressiveness, a mix of bend but no break. That's always been a part of whatever I've done anyway. You have to adapt to the situation and what is needed to be effective during that time of the game. Maybe it is bend but no break. Maybe it is pressure. But, you know, we've got to do what is best for the players here.
Going back to your first time here, Tony said he thought you guys ran a bounty program in 2000. Were his comments completely inaccurate, do you think?
It was not going on.
Were you able to speak with him?
I don't, like I said, I haven't talked to anybody in the National Football League.